Okay, so I didn't record on Friday, so I'm gonna be recording now. So I'm looking at the market. Let's mark our times. 7 a.m. And let's go into the day quickly, or each day market. So last week we had this sell side imbalance still open, top half still open. Um, for me personally, my personal draw on liquidity was up here, and the Thursday low the day before was right here. Going into the 15-minute or the 1 hour now. 1 hour. Um, like I mentioned, 7 a.m. draw. We had this. Okay, 15 minutes. 7 a.m. we had our initial opening right here. These were initial buy and sell side liquidity. Um, market 8 a.m. breaks this buy side, initial buy side. 8:30 we had CPI news, so it created huge volatility. Ended up taking out these equal highs right here. And also creating more highs to be targeted future in the future. Um, so I'm gonna mark that out right now. And then it dropped below to where I had marked out the, the consequent encroachment of this gap or this wick, which it did hit exactly to 0.25 at 9:30 a.m. when market opens up. Um, I believe we had a oh no, not that one. I believe we had a decent range opening to the buy side, leading me to be biased. My bias to be obviously bullish, especially after taking this sell side liquidity or tapping into this sell side um, right here and then pushing up. It does displace. I did mark out in the morning or in the afternoon this again. Um, that okay. Uh, we left a big gap, reaches down into consequent encroachment during lunch one more time or at 10:45 and then reverses back up. Note how I did reach these highs at the 15-minute. Um, ultimate target were these relatively equal highs right here. On the chart, on the 5-minute, it'll look a lot better. Or like on the lower charts, but these are relatively equal highs. And then ultimately did reach up to this 15-minute wick, which was our yesterday or Thursday's October 10th high, and reached into that lower quadrant. Um, and proceeded to sell off in the afternoon. Then let's go down to 5 quickly. So like I mentioned, uh, 7 a.m. Where is it at? Opened up. We had initial buy and sell side, created equal lows. Takes the buy side, reaches for this sell side, passes it, right? Equal highs right here. Passes it barely, and then proceeds to drop off. um, lower to this sell side that I did have marked out, that we just marked out, um, to the 50% of that, or like I said earlier, um, the lower quadrant of that. It trades perfectly to the lower quadrant, just barely. And then it proceeds to climb higher. Remember, I marked out this 15-minute fair value gap, graded it with the Fibonacci. Once it passed this right here, 50%, you can turtle soup short it. Higher time frame shows up. We had data highs. It actually shoots up, creates this 5-minute order block. Shoots up, is within this breaker. So remember, high, low, higher high, trades into the breaker. I believe that's like mean threshold of this breaker. Yep, at the mean threshold of the breaker. But respects it and bounces back up in the afternoon during the lunch macro. Kind of stays within the range though. After that, remember at 1:30 I wanted to look at, okay, 1:30 to 2. I had this high, these equal highs, these equal lows. I marked out this as my target high, which it comes up at 2 o'clock, proceeds to spool up, and then retraces back down using this fair value gap that was mentioned earlier, or that was made in the morning session. And it's used this whole entire time to, as I guess, support to shoot up higher, reaching this lower quadrant that I wrote out on the 15, eventually breaking the morning high, and then retraces lower, taking out this sell side, leaving these equal lows for the afternoon session, and then this long wick, which in itself was also a good thing to write out because it's comes exactly to the 75%. Bodies respect it. Let's go into the 1 minute. Okay, back into it. 7 a.m. High lows. Takes out the high. Kind of chops around. 8:30. What's it do? Freaking wicks crazy. Leaves these lows intact. Barely leaves it up. Comes all the way up here. Remember what I said earlier? Targets were these relatively equal highs back here. Oh, I just marked these, right? But like relatively equal highs were back here. So it does take those relatively equal highs and then proceeds to sell off really quickly, taking out these lows that it left intact. So on the chart, I see, okay, we took out the high, took out this low, but we still had data highs left from the afternoon, or from this big PPI news, I believe it was. And it, as I was looking at it, it completely goes down, and I'm obviously biased bullish. I know that we have these data highs. So 9:30 opens up, first present fair value gap right here. Write it out. comes up, kind of gives you some chop, but then it finally takes off. You do get an order block right here. But you also get a breaker right here. High, low, higher high, comes up into the breaker. This whole entire thing is a breaker. Comes up into the breaker, top half of the wick. But it does wick all the way down to where first present a fair value gap, and then shoots all the way up. You can also use OTE entry into this from this market structure shift right here to this low. Will get you your OTE, or to the low in general. Will get you to your OTE. Optimal trade entry, even if you went higher. As it was climbing up, it never reaches down to your low, but it does keep on making these highs until you get your OTE down. First presented fair value gap shoots all the way up. Keeps on shooting. Until you reach these equal highs, which was my target. I would have been out right there. Let it keep on moving up to these highs. I don't care about that. I take my win. These are relatively equal highs as well. Could have had this as a target. This was a target though, ultimately, because like I mentioned earlier, it has some highs from that morning session. So market does retrace down. During the lunch session. You could take this as a turtle soup. Comes up, down, and then it finally retraces downwards, creating this order block. This is this is the only order block that I know that I'm calling, because it does have the consecutive candles afterwards, which the market does trade back into, respects the order block, trades back down during the lunch session into this lower half or lower section of the daily Sibi that I marked out. You can use this as a order block right here, as well as this as an order block. Change of going, we're in the sell, we're selling, and then change of market structure, or change of deliveries from sell side to buy side. Comes back down, sells, sell side, keeps on going back up, and doesn't ever really hit again. Like I mentioned, this is the breaker. This whole entire thing is the breaker. It does trade into this breaker from the morning that I marked out earlier, and and so yes, during where's 130? I thought I marked out 130. Either way, 130 right here. I would just say 130 and 2. Does market give me a setup? Well, it gives me these relatively equal lows. It gives me these lows. Market takes off into this buy side, minor buy side. So I'm gonna mark this out just because practice. Minor buy side taken. Sell side is resting below this that was created. Minor sell side. I actually marked this out. well, relatively equal highs, but also intermediate term high because I had this high up here. So yeah, glad market does take this buy side. Taken. Takes out this minor sell side. Immediately takes out the minor sell side and starts to spool forward. And so when I was looking at the market, what was I telling myself as I was looking at it? Well, like I mentioned, um, the market left a fair value gap during during this extension that I had marked out because it was protected. It was respecting this fair value gap and this fair value gap. So when it went down, I could tell myself, okay, buy side right here. I still have these equal highs. It wakes up, takes them so that way you could go down. And then my best bet for picking up a trade for the silver bullet, in my opinion, would have been at this moment when it goes down, takes a sell side, reverses now to the buy side, and retraces into this order block right here, which is also a inverse fair value gap. This is all inverse. You could use it as the inverse. Um, into the high that I was saying, which was right here. Obviously reached further high up, but my immediate focus was right here. Takes this high though, and it starts to show less resistance, not willing to go higher. So what did I tell myself? Well, I have this fair value gap, becomes an inverse, and the market shoots up straight through it. You can actually use that because it's the volume imbalance. Shoots down. I had order block right here, and it's also a breaker, I believe. Low, high, lower, low, versus back into it, and reaches for this sell side that we had in the afternoon that we left, and leaves these for the rest of the day. Now I'm gonna go into my studying layout because I believe I had it written. Um, 1 minute. Let's go back to the 11th. Did I write it? Nope. So yes, we had a breaker, 15-minute breaker, high, low, higher high. I refined this 15-minute breaker into this smaller breaker. I'll go back into this quickly. I'll show you. See, high, low, higher high, breaker right here. This whole entire thing was the breaker. We also had a 15-minute fair value gap, 1 hour fair value gap as well. On 5 minutes quickly. Um, see, I took some trades that did not based off of this, but I was nervous, so I ran out. The trade that did pan out for me was right here. I took that to that. We'll show you right now in the 1 minute. Um, this is an order block. I think it's on the 5 minute, I'll be honest. Oh, okay. Yes, that was order block as well. 15-minute order block. I had a lot of written. Either way, what did I do? Well, first of all, I didn't do nothing. I thought I took a trade. Never mind. In the morning. Either way, it's okay. Um, okay. Takes these highs, went up to this block. I was planning on using this 5 minute fair value gap for a trade setup on the smaller time frames. Um, like I said, creates these equal highs. And as soon as it broke down through this, I was like, okay, well, it just wicked up higher, went down. I did not see a 1 minute entry, but I was confident in myself that I knew that, okay, what, it's gonna go down into this right here, into this fair value gap at least, and then shoot up if it wanted to go higher. So that's why my target was there. But my, ooh, um, but still, I was able to get a decent trade. I believe that was my entry, right? My exit, which was a decent trade. And then it reversed up. That was it for Friday.